June 29th is when people start saying, "Why is everything taking longer?" And if you're paying attention, you'll notice it's not always a disaster. It's friction. It's timing resistance. It's the moment the year stops letting you sprint on assumptions. This is why the signal calendar frames June 29th as mid-year friction that reveals what was rushed. Negotiations reopen, timelines stretch, and simple tasks get complicated. An anchor for revising agreements, simplifying systems, and rebuilding clarity. Here's the question to ask when the friction starts. What did you build too fast that now needs to be built correctly? The lens today is temporal and threshold cycles. Those liminal phases where forward motion isn't blocked because you're failing, but because the phase is designed to expose weak structure. Historically, threshold frameworks show up in initiation rites and timing philosophies across cultures. The crossing isn't the reward, it's the test. You don't pass thresholds by forcing speed. You pass them by proving integrity. Clean agreements, clear boundaries, and systems that can hold weight without constant heroics. And this is exactly how money gets lost in mid-year friction windows. Not through one big catastrophe, through small assumptions that become expensive. A real-life example. A business owner signs a vendor contract quickly because they want momentum. Then, under friction, the vague language becomes a problem. Scope expands. Costs creep. The easy collaboration turns into a renegotiation they should have had up front. Another real-life example. An employee assumes a promotion conversation will work itself out. They keep performing above their pay grade, hoping recognition will arrive naturally. Then the timeline stretches. Leadership shifts, or priorities change, and they realize they have no written agreement. Only effort. Another real-life example. A freelancer thinks a client understands what's included. They don't put it in writing because they want to feel flexible. Then a revision spiral begins, and suddenly the job is no longer profitable. That's not bad luck. That's threshold exposure. Now, here's the core codex overlay, clean and contained. Western astrology uses Mercury retrograde language to describe a collective rhythm where communication distortions and timing friction expose weak assumptions. It's not doom, and it's not prediction. It's a pattern of review pressure. When review pressure rises, what's unclear becomes loud. Contracts, expectations, logistics, and unspoken resentments in systems that looked stable. The best use of this window is revision, repair, and simplification, not launching fragile timelines that can't withstand delay. Core Codex overlay complete. So what do you do with June 29th? You treat it like a reality audit. You reread everything you rushed. You check your agreements. You confirm expectations in writing. You simplify workflows. You reduce the number of moving parts that depend on perfect timing. And you watch your emotional behavior around friction, because some of you respond to delay by spending. You buy tools you don't need. You outsource in panic. You make impulsive decisions to feel in control. That's threshold anxiety, and it's expensive. Instead, you pause long enough to ask, is this truly urgent, or is it uncomfortable? Then you renegotiate like an adult, not aggressively, cleanly. You don't need drama. You need clarity. You don't need to punish anyone. You need the agreement to match reality. And here's what's powerful about doing it this way. Once your systems are clean, friction stops feeling personal. It becomes information. It becomes feedback. It becomes refinement instead of shame. That's how wealth gets built in threshold seasons, not by forcing new growth, but by removing the hidden costs that have been draining you. Reflective question: what agreement in your life is currently running on assumption instead of clarity? And what would your finances look like if you revised it before the next delay makes it expensive? When timing slows down, it's not life attacking you, it's life demanding structure. Because anything that can only succeed at full speed was never stable in the first place. If this helped you see the pattern without fear, share it with someone who's been calling friction bad luck, and subscribe for more grounded decoding that protects your money and your peace. This is the Prophecy Pulse.